Distinguished guests, scholars, and fellow citizens, today we confront one of the longest and most complex conflicts in modern history, the Kashmir question. For more than 75 years, the Valley of Kashmir has been at the heart of rivalry between India and Pakistan. It is a story of hope and heartbreak, of politics and power, and above all, of people who have lived too long under the shadow of uncertainty. To understand the present, we must revisit 1947, the year of partition. When British rule ended, the princely state of Jammu and Kashmir, ruled by Maharaja Hari Singh, stood between two newborn nations. A Hindu ruler governed a Muslim-majority state. Hoping to remain independent, the Maharaja found himself caught in the whirlwind of history. When tribal forces from Pakistan invaded, he turned to India for help. India agreed on one condition, that Kashmir accede to the Indian Union. The Maharaja signed, and Indian troops were airlifted into Srinagar. The first war between India and Pakistan had begun. By 1949, a ceasefire was brokered under United Nations supervision, leaving the region divided, 2/3 under India, 1/3 under Pakistan. The UN called for a plebiscite to let Kashmiris decide their future, but that vote never came. Instead, mistrust and differing interpretations of the agreement hardened the division. What was meant to be temporary became permanent. The decades that followed were marked by repeated wars, in 1965, 1971, and the Kargil conflict of 1999. Each time, peace talks raised hope, only for violence to return. Meanwhile, within Indian-administered Kashmir, promises of autonomy were slowly eroded. Frustration grew, and by 1989, an armed insurgency erupted. What began as a local movement for self-determination soon became entangled in cross-border militancy and global geopolitics. The 1990s were years of darkness. Tens of thousands of lives were lost, militants, soldiers, and civilians alike. The mass exodus of Kashmiri Pandits from the valley shattered the centuries-old mosaic of communities. The Indian state responded with massive militarization, while Pakistan supported militant groups fighting in the name of freedom. Between the gun of the soldier and the gun of the insurgent stood the ordinary Kashmiri, whose only crime was to dream of peace. In 1998, both India and Pakistan tested nuclear weapons, turning Kashmir from a regional dispute into a global concern. A year later came the Kargil War, a sobering reminder that the line of control could ignite a nuclear confrontation. Since then, diplomacy and danger have walked hand in hand. Yet, amid this turbulence, there were moments of hope. The Lahore Declaration, the Agra Summit, and the opening of cross-border bus services. For a brief time, divided families reunited, trade revived, and the dream of reconciliation flickered alive. But terrorism, mistrust, and politics repeatedly extinguished that light. A major turning point came in August 2019, when the Indian government revoked Article 370, the constitutional provision granting Jammu and Kashmir special status. The state was split into two union territories, bringing it under direct federal control. India justified the move as a step toward integration and development. Pakistan denounced it as an illegal annexation. The valley was placed under lockdown, communication lines were cut, and thousands were detained. Once again, the people of Kashmir found themselves voiceless in decisions about their own future. At the heart of this conflict are human beings, mothers who wait for missing sons, children growing up amid curfews and checkpoints, soldiers who patrol mountains not of their choosing. The people of Kashmir are not mere subjects of geopolitics, they are victims of it. Their suffering is shared across communities, Muslim, Hindu, Sikh, and Buddhist alike. Decades of conflict have crippled education, destroyed tourism, and driven away opportunity. Yet, through it all, the resilience of Kashmir's people endures. For India, Kashmir is a symbol of its secular and democratic identity, proof that diversity can exist within unity. For Pakistan, it represents the unfinished business of partition, a Muslim-majority region it believes rightfully belongs within its borders. For many Kashmiris, it is neither about India nor Pakistan, but about dignity, autonomy, and the right to decide their destiny. So, what path leads to peace? First, India and Pakistan must talk, sincerely and consistently. Dialogue is not weakness, it is wisdom. No problem has ever been solved by silence or by arms. Second, both sides must take steps to ease the suffering of the people. Demilitarizing civilian areas, protecting human rights, and ensuring political participation are essential. Pakistan, too, must curb cross-border terrorism if it truly seeks peace. Third, development and education must replace despair. The youth of Kashmir deserve more than slogans. They deserve jobs, schools, and stability. The valley's beauty can once again become a magnet for tourism and trade if peace returns. Civil society, women's groups, and the Kashmiri diaspora must be included in shaping this future. Their voices, too long ignored, hold the key to healing. We can learn from other regions once torn by conflict. Northern Ireland found peace through power sharing and dialogue. South Africa overcame decades of division through truth and reconciliation. These examples teach us that peace is possible when courage triumphs over pride. Beyond politics, the Kashmir question is a moral one. How long can generations live without normalcy? How long will young people inherit a future defined by barbed wire and fear? True victory will not come from military triumphs or diplomatic one-upmanship. It will come when a child in Srinagar can walk to school without fear, when a Pandit family can return home without fear, when a border guard can go home knowing peace will hold. Kashmir has been called paradise on earth. Let it not remain a paradise lost to politics. Let it become a symbol of what South Asia can achieve when empathy replaces enmity. India and Pakistan together hold 1/5 of humanity. Their peace could transform the world's most populous region into one of prosperity and cooperation. Imagine trade instead of troops, friendship instead of fire, bridges instead of borders. The choice before us is simple yet profound: pathways to peace or perpetual conflict. Peace demands courage, the courage to listen, to forgive, to compromise. The people of Kashmir have endured enough. It is time to end the decades of distrust and build a new narrative, one not written in blood but in understanding. Ladies and gentlemen, the mountains of Kashmir have witnessed too much sorrow. Let the next generation see them as monuments of peace. Let this be the century when South Asia finally breaks free from the ghosts of 1947 and embraces a shared future. The promise of peace is not impossible. It merely waits for us to believe in it. Thank you.